What's happening, everybody? Review Man here, and today is November 5th. And I cannot think of a better movie to talk about on November 5th than V for Vendetta. Now the only reason I can't think of a better movie that on November 5th is that the poem that they say in this movie, remember the 5th of November. And this movie is about this guy named V, who's trying to get revenge on these people that done him wrong and done experiments on him when he was younger, when he was at this compound. And the first half of the movie, he's going through this. Actually, the first scene in the movie is he's going out to start his revenge, and he meets this girl named Eve, and Eve is played by Natalie Portman, which I didn't recognize her. But if you've seen the Thor movie, that's Natalie Portman that plays Thor's love interest. So anyway, he saves her from these killers, and then they kind of get a relationship going, and he kind of takes her under his wing as sort of like his accomplice, as to get into like all these places that he needs to get into to exact his revenge. It's this is more like a revenge story. But anyway, Guy Fawkes, V wears a Guy Fawkes mask. And if you, I'm gonna give you a little history lesson. Guy Fawkes was either he was English or French. He was a revolutionist who wanted to blow. He was famous for his gunpowder incident that pretty much failed, but he was famous for that. And the whole gunpowder thing was he wanted to blow up. He wanted to blow up part of England, and just give a sign to the French Parliament. Now, Guy Fawkes, Guy Fawkes. If you want to know more about him, go look him up on Google. I like history-based movies like this. It gives me some stuff to think about. But anyway, this movie is based on in November 20. This is based upon in November 2020, which is what we're in right now. So anyway, he's going on throughout the movie. He first attacks this television studio, and he gives this lesson. He puts this DVD. He hijacks this television studio. He puts this DVD inside the camera and tells them to play this. And now what this message is telling everybody that if they're tired of being bullied, if they're tired of doing all this, stand up against the people. And he's kind of like leading the revolution, like leading all of England in the revolution. And he's telling everybody to like stand up against them. Don't believe what they say. Don't believe everything you hear, and all this other stuff. And it's showing like everybody is kind of going along with what V's talking about. And as the movie goes on, he starts tracking down all these people that were involved in the experiments in this facility, and he starts killing them off one by one, and pretty much giving them the same justice that he's pretty much striking revenge. Now, there's one lady that was doing the experiments on him that he pretty much just killed in her sleep, gave her like a peaceful sleep, because he saw that she had like remorse in her eyes, and she like gave him like a peaceful death. So anyway, the movie's going on. You got this detective named Finch, and the detective is trying to figure out the whole V thing, trying to track him down, and he's also trying to track Eve down. And Eve is like pretty much doing like this. Is working with Guy Fawkes. I want to say Guy Fawkes. Is working with V, and V is like giving her like different directions to go. And first they start killing off everybody in this television studio. They kill this minister that had, like I said, everything to do with the experiments was that. So and then as the movie goes on, Eve goes to this guy's house named Gordon, and he's trying to confide in Gordon that V's what was it? That V's gonna do all this stuff and all this other stuff. And so the police show up to Gordon's house, and they kidnap. They take Gordon in, then they take V in. No, not V, but they take Eve in. But Eve gets apprehended by one of these other guys, and he's like, "I gotcha." And so what they do is they're like, "Okay, Eve," they say her last name, but okay, if you comply with us, we'll let you off the hook. If you can tell us the identity of who V is, we'll let you off the hook. She's like, "I can't do that. I don't know his identity." And they're thinking that she's playing hardball. And they put her in this jail cell. And then she reads this letter from this person that was doing all the experiments and kind of got a captive. And this girl fell in love and all this other stuff. And it turns out that V set this all up to pretty much get her back with him. This guy's good. I like the way this guy thinks. He's good. I could probably go back and watch it again, but this guy's good. So anyway, this one guy comes in and he says, "Okay, you're free to go." Eve's like, "What?" Because Eve's been tortured. Eve was tortured. She had her head shaved off, and she looks out the door. She's got this strange look on her face. And then she opens this door and she finds V standing right there. So V informs her that the whole thing was like this whole setup. He just had to get her back. He intercepted her. He was testing her and all this. And she's not believing any of this. She's like, "You tortured me. You tortured me." And she's like, V said, "Well, you said you never felt fear before. And I had to pretty much ensue fear in you to get you not to feel fear." And she's slowly learning to trust him again. And he goes to what does he do next? Then he kills a few more people off, and it's starting to become the 5th of November, and 1 year later. And while all this is going on, you got the chancellor. He's getting really ticked off at everybody that's dying at V's hand. And he's like, I want everybody to find this guy. And whoever, and this is another part of the story, that V sent out like a bunch of costumes and all this other stuff. And yeah, V sent out all these costumes, and he pretty much is trying to get a whole revolution set up to where people are going against the government, going against the parliament and all that, which that's V's final target. He's been blowing up. At the beginning of the movie, he blew up this one place, and right now he's working on blowing up Parliament. And so what he does is he sends out all these costumes, and you see everybody donning the costumes. And while this is going on, everybody's like donning costumes, and the chancellor's like, I want everybody out there. I want everybody. If you're outside during curfew, you will be set up, and you will be shot, and you are with no circumstances. And while all that's going on, Finch finds out from this one guy that the dude knows that everything that's been going on, the whole government is setting up its own death, and it's turning everybody against each other. It's pretty much sending out all kinds of targets that is pretty much setting everybody up against each other, which is kind of fitting about what's going on in the world right now. Because we got the election going on, we got the virus going on that nobody has the cure for, but they claim that one person does have the cure, and all this other stuff. So it's kind of sick what's going on in the world right now. It's kind of like they foretold about what's going on right now. But anyway, on with the story. So the guy walks away, Finch, Finch has this look on his face like he can't really believe like what's going on. And then we're getting down to the last part of the movie. He shows Eve this whole train set up with like all this stuff. It's pretty much like a memoir to V, and he says, how do you put this? And V like pretty much says that he's gonna give the train and everything to her to do as she sees fit with it. And he goes off. He starts walking down the train that has like all these abandoned tunnels. It's pretty much the same abandoned tunnels that Guy Fawkes ran down. But V's like, I pretty much set it up my own way, and this train is heading straight toward Parliament. And he starts walking away. He goes to meet up with this one guy that has the chancellor, and V's like, I held up my end of the bargain. Time for you to hold up yours. And the dude, he shoots the chancellor in the head, and what was that guy's name? I forgot that dude's name. I'm bad. I know stories, but I'm bad with names. But the guy shoots the chancellor in the head, and the guy's like, pretty much, now I shot him. Let's take off your mask. And he's like, up underneath my mask is not a face, but an idea. And then the guy's like, what does that mean? You gonna throw your little knives at us? And he says, well, you got all these guns, I got some knives. And then he's like, by the time that you shoot me with your bullets, you'll be dead by the time that you try to reload. He's like, okay, let's see. And then the bee ends up getting shot. He's like, and he like just stumbles around. And he looks at the dude. My turn. He pulls out all the knives. He starts cutting up all the dudes with the knives. He starts slicing throats. He starts doing all that. And then what he does next is pretty much what I just said. He tells the dude that what's up underneath my mask is not a person or whatever. It's an idea. And then he kills him. And V's stumbling around. He takes off the bulletproof vest. He throws that on the ground and he starts walking around. He starts walking back to Eve. And Eve is pretty much like, I love you. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. Then he dies. Eve places him on in the train. She's about to pull the lever. Finch comes up. Finch is like, don't do it. And he was like, do you know who he actually was? And he was actually the savior of this town. And Finch is like, he's like, step away from the lever. Eve's like, no. She pulls the lever, gets off the train, and the train's going into this tunnel. And Eve says, do you like music, Mr. Finch? And while that's going on, the military is like, okay, what do we do? There's all these V targets heading around us. What do we do? Okay, nobody's saying anything. Nothing from the chancellor. Nothing from nobody. Stand down. You see like this big old crowd of nothing but V costumes and everybody just going toward them, just walking. It's like pretty much surrounding them. It had to be like probably 1,000 V costumes, if not more. And then everybody's like looking at Parliament. And then the next thing you see is the train light up with explosives, blowing up Parliament. Fireworks going all over the place. Fireworks. And he says, then Finch asks Eve, he's like, who was he? Eve's like, he was my brother, he was my mother, he was my father, he was my friend, he was all of us, and he was me. And then the next thing you see is everybody that had to be costumes, everybody was taking off their costumes, and you can see that it was pretty much everybody that was in the town and all this other stuff. They were all dressed up like bees and pretty much starting part of the revolution. So, and then the movie ends with the Parliament blowing up and fireworks going all over the place, which that was part of Guy Fawkes' MO, was fireworks and gunpowder. So anyway, yeah guys, that was V for Vendetta. I rather enjoyed this movie. It was interesting to say the least. It had a lot to do with history. It had a lot to do with all this other stuff. But anyway, guys, I pretty much enjoyed this movie. If you liked it, leave a comment. What was your favorite part? All that other stuff. Go check out the movie. It's on Tubi right now, as well as a bunch of other platforms, and you may have it. So anyway, guys, I'm the Review Man. You are you. Happy Guy Fawkes Day. That's pretty much one of the reasons I did this movie today. And I'll see you guys in the next video. And remember, the 5th of November. Peace out, guys.